Well, here I am on the right side of my Onan, and look at all of that carbon. Now this cylinder head just popped off with no trouble whatsoever. Look at all of that. All that carbon. To give you a comparison, I have the other cylinder head is over here soaking it easy off. That's what it's supposed to look like, cleaned up. Look. There you go. See the difference? So yeah, I've got a lot of carbon buildup on this side. Now I'm about done with my cleanup on this one. See how nice and pretty and shiny it is. I took care of the surfaces here with my little wire brush. I got a couple of, where'd they go? I got a couple of little metal toothbrushes that I haven't even used yet, and some cleaner and such. Here's my gasket on the left side, and I'm painting it with layers of aluminized, metallic paint. It increases the tolerance of the gasket, I think, and helps me get a good seal. So I've got 3 coats of paint on it already, and this will be coat number 4. And I'm going to do the other side as well. I figure about 5 coats per side should be plenty. So Tom Phipps is going to come over, and he's going to give me a get me home spare junk 16.5-inch wheel that he picked up from somewhere, which is very kind of him, and I'm going to try to take him out to lunch for his trouble, and I really appreciate it. Before I put all this stuff back together, I've got to get a torque wrench so that I can properly torque these bolts down to the correct specifications, because if you don't do it to the right amount of torque, you over tighten them and cause horrible things to happen. I also picked up some high temperature primer and high temperature black paint for my exhaust manifold, and just to be different, I got some blue spray paint, and I think I'm going to spray paint my intake manifold blue, just because. So anyway, that's what I'm up to. You would think it was coming another great flood. I think we just had 2 inches of rain. Alright, so my cylinder heads are cleaned up nicely. There's the right hand side. There's the left hand side. Here's my left and right cylinder heads. They're nice and cleaned up. I have taken my gaskets and spray painted about 5 layers, 5 coats of spray paint on each side. And these are my cylinder cover, the cylinder head covers. I think I want to make my cylinder head and my intake manifold be Smurf blue, just to be a little bit different. I've also got some oil. Once I get everything all back together, I'm going to change out my oil, and I got a cheap torque wrench from Harbor Freight. So I attempted to take loose this bolt, because I know that I'm going to have to take this stuff loose if I want to paint my exhaust manifold. But all I managed to do was round this a little bit right here, round this bolt a little bit, and I don't want to do that. I know that I need an exhaust, and I'm not sure exactly how an exhaust is going to connect to all this. But I'm all ears and open to suggestions. So anyway, alright, to be continued. Note to self, if I ever do have to do this again, which you have to take the cylinder heads off every couple of 100 hours or so, make sure to, and you have to, if you have to remove this, if you have to bend this piece of metal back for any reason, make sure you put it back in place. I used a piece of wood and put it up against it and beat on the end of it in order to put it back into shape. Do this before you have reattached the cylinder head and torqued it all down, because if you have to take the cylinder head back off again so you can do this, you mess up your gasket that you spent lots of time spray painting and letting it dry, and spray painting and letting it dry. Then you have to redo the whole thing. While I wait for the paint to dry on my gasket and the covers, I have at least put in this side, and I've torqued the bolts down to 19 foot-pounds of torque. And I went in the specified order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how you torque them down. Since I have some time, I have decided to change the oil, and it's about through dripping out. Unfortunately, as I emptied out the oil drain plug, I dropped it and it fell into my oil catch pan here, so it's somewhere underneath 3 or 4 inches of motor oil. I'm going to have to fish it out, but at least I'll have some oil. I got a Bosch 3421 oil filter, which is supposedly one that will fit. So, and I still have my oil filter gasket that goes in this hole here, I think, or no, it goes in this hole, that hole there. That's where that goes. So, alrighty, to be continued. You gotta just love word problems. With oil filter, the capacity of the Onan is 4.5 quarts. Well, the oil is sold in 5 liter jugs, which is equal to 5.28. Call it 5 1/4 quarts. So if I'm going to get from 5 1/4 quarts to 4.5 quarts, I've got to lose 3/4 of a quart. And a quart is 32 ounces, so 3/4 of a quart is going to be 24 ounces. So let it not be said that you're not going to have to know how to do this stuff when you grow up. Math is useful. Okay, I have it mostly back together now. I'm unsure exactly how this is supposed to, stay on there. Do I glue it? Anyway, my batteries are connected, my cylinders are back on, my cylinder covers are back on, everything is torqued down correctly. I've used anti-seize and everything. So, alright. Hopefully my battery is not too low. Yeah, battery's too low. Alright, I'll just leave it on the charger and then come back to it. Okay. With luck. Alright, I've primed the pump. With luck, she'll start and run. Oh, it almost caught. My wife is there at the door, making sure that I don't kill myself. I've only just begun to try to make it go, sweetie.
Only just begun.
Here. You may want to stand back. What are you doing, baby? The action is down here.
Bollocks. I thought I was going to go to the bathroom.
What are you coming out here for then?
Because I was washing my hands and I heard you trying to start it, so I was just seeing.
Okay, well this is getting boring fast. Would you stop? Okay, I noticed a number of problems. I think my fuse may be a little bit loose because I've got to actually hold it to the board. When I was pulling it out, maybe I bent the prongs. But on top of that, I'm getting when it tries to run, and when it has ignition, I'll see a plume of exhaust come out from this general area, going poof, poof, poof. So perhaps I don't have everything torqued down as far as it's supposed to. But I used my torque wrench, and I've got it set correctly for 19 foot-pounds. So I don't know what that problem is, but I wonder if I can recreate and show you what it's doing. Alright, I have to hold the fuse. Come on! Yeah. Help. I got my torque wrench back out, and I decided to torque everything down to 20 foot-pounds as opposed to the 19 foot-pounds that the manual calls for. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't make much difference. Anyway, as I was attempting to tighten down this one, it kept tightening and tightening down, but it never would click. What wound up happening was that I kept spinning my screw, and it pulled the stud out. So I guess I need to know, how do you put one of these studs back into the block? I mean, just take everything off, put this back in, and then do it all over again? Is that how this works? Okay, I think I'm about done for the night. This came off. The coarse threads go into the block. The fine threads, of course, go into this nut here. do I take off the entire cylinder head and put this back in, and how do I make sure that it's in really good, because I don't see a way to spin this. Anyway, I think I'm done for the evening. Okay, I lied. I just had to go try it a little bit further. This is loose. It wiggles like a loose tooth, and it won't stay in there good. I can't get a good seat. I don't know what's the matter.